Welcome everyone to Mongols Pregame'n edition. This is where we spend just a few minutes chatting with the team prior to the next matchup. Joining me for this one, as we head into the team's final regular season game, is Riverhounds' first-year captain making his triumphant return to the podcast. It's Danny Griffin. Welcome back, DG. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well, Mike.
Good. You're smiling because you know that this is going to be a bit of a different format, this one. I saw you sharing some of the videos online. Typically, you're here. It's just you and I having a fun chat, but I'm the one asking all the questions. Last game of the season, I didn't want to be selfish, so we said, let's put out the call to the Riverhounds faithful. They can all submit their questions, and then we'd play them for you to answer. So my question for you, sir, is, are you ready?
I am. Definitely. I've been looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's play our first question for you.
DG, big fan. What is the best restaurant in Pittsburgh?
So I don't want to say a bit of a softball, but we're going to start with a familiar face who said he's a big fan of yours. You know, your boss. That's a pretty good thing.
It is.
Dan Besser asking best restaurant in Pittsburgh.
That's a great question. Because for a while, Viss was in charge of the restaurants while we were on the road too. So I would say my favorite one every day before game day when we're home and it's close to the stadium, I go to Cilantro and Ajo. It's a Venezuelan place, and that's my favorite spot for sure. Hannah, my fiance Hannah, and I we eat there a lot. Get the empanadas, the pabellon bowl. That's definitely my go-to.
That's awesome. Well, now I feel like we got to put Viss on the spot too. You said he's responsible for picking places. Has he ever picked somewhere that was like awful on the road?
No, he always did a good job because it was the meal before the game. When he was the assistant coach, he always helped with those spots. So he always did good because it's important to have that pregame meal before we played.
Okay, good. All right, got first question on the way. That's not too bad, right?
No, that's good.
All right, here we go. Let's go with question number 2.
Hi, I have 2 questions for Danny. One serious, one not so serious. The first one is, it's your first year as captain of the Riverhound squad. And I just want to know, is there anything, any knowledge that you've gained that has helped you become a better captain? And the second question is, when you eat a taco, do you turn your head to the side or the taco to the side?
I'll let you pick which one you want to start with.
All right, I'll start with the captain question. I mean, there's definitely a lot to take in from this year. Obviously, going from the year we had last year to this year. I'd say the biggest thing I've learned is like each week is definitely a different week because it presents a different challenge. I think you have a different opponent, so you get ready for the opponent depending on where you are in the standings, the last result, the mood of the group. I would say the biggest thing is just obviously knowing your guys around you and knowing what really can encourage them or like when to say something, when not to say something. I think this year we've had a group of leaders in our locker room, which has obviously helped me as well. Obviously having Canardo still there and Robbie, guys I'm familiar with in the midfield. Obviously talking with coach, the whole coaching staff and helping me into that transition role. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing is knowing the guys and when, and obviously I know for me, being more vocal in the locker room is important. Also, like for the guys go around us, just keep continuously pushing them because obviously the standards here in Pittsburgh are high for us, and for a lot of the season we weren't reaching that standard or meeting that standard. And now this back portion, we put ourselves in this position, so have really had to fight and scrap and claw, and we're not out of the hole yet. So obviously we have to finish strong this last game of the season. But I would say that's the biggest thing is like each week presents a different challenge and knowing how to adapt and go into each week and what you're going to say to the group and how you're going to attack each game.
To piggyback off of that, before we get to the taco question, if you could go back to the first day of the season and give yourself one piece of advice, what do you think you would tell yourself as a captain?
I think I would tell myself definitely. That's a good question. I think I would tell myself just don't let emotions sometimes. Like I'm not too emotional when it comes. Like obviously in the game, I would say you feel all the emotions. But like sometimes I think what I got good at is like I kind of let things sink in and like before I speak because obviously I want to know all the facts. I want to know so I think that's the biggest thing is not reacting right away because obviously in a game you don't want to be reactive. You want to be proactive and knowing what you're doing. So I would say that would be the biggest thing. It's just like how you're feeling exactly in the moment. It could change, and like I said, week to week, that always changes with the result before, the result to come, how you're pushing yourself, because every week you have to go out and do the business. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for sure.
I like that. And then the taco. Do you turn your head to the taco or do you turn the taco?
I think I definitely turn the taco. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't turn my head.
I had to actually think about that. I was like, do I turn the taco? I don't know what I do still. I think it depends on the
Until
taco.
then, I wouldn't have thought about it, but then I did think about it. Yeah, I definitely.
All right, let's move on to number 3.
Hi, Danny. I have 2 questions for you. This is your 5th year in the USL, and so far this has been your best year so far. What do you attribute your success to and your ability to grow throughout these years? Second question, a little silly. Kraft mac and cheese or Velveeta, shells and cheese? Thanks, I'll hang up and listen.
I don't know why everyone's asking you food questions like right off the bat.
I'm a food guy, so I don't mind it. I don't mind it. So the first question I'll answer is first question. I would say, yeah, I just attribute the year I'm having just kind of. I've always been adaptive. I mean, once you go from high school to college, you adapt and learn the system there. I think the biggest jump was going from college to here in Pittsburgh. I think there's no better coach for me to have had to adapt from college and transition from that period into my professional career than Coach Bob Lilly. So obviously a lot of credit to him and the guys I had around me that made the transition easy. I think, yeah, that's the biggest thing for players, to be adaptable to the team, be adaptable to the system, be adaptable to situations that are going on in the game. So I credit to that because I think I changed a lot as a player since my first year here in Pittsburgh. Came in, played some different roles, different positions. And yeah, just being able to adapt on the fly like that and really learn and soak in all the information that I get from the coaching staff, from my teammates, that's been the biggest credit to what I've been able to do and continue to grow.
Yeah. Just to, singing your praises a little bit. We've talked a lot on this show sort of about your adaptability. And I think one of the phrases that someone liked to keep using was that you were our best defensive midfielder who's not a defensive midfielder, in the sense that like you play that position so well, but we also think the team could massively benefit from you being further up because we've seen you play in more of an attacking role and you've like flourished there. So yes, the adaptability is great. And we enjoy seeing you all over the place. So
appreciate it.
The second question was, what was it? Kraft or Velveeta mac and cheese?
That's a great question because for me, big cheese person. I actually have like a weird rule during the season because of like inflammation that I don't eat cheese after Tuesday. So my fiance always joked with me about that. And those are 2 big ones. Growing up, I was always, and I still am, Velveeta for sure.
Okay. All right. There you go. Velveeta for the win.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's see who our next caller
Hey, Danny, this is Eric. I just wanted to ask you, what was your biggest missed chance scoring a goal in college that comes to your memory? I would really like to know that answer. Yeah, thanks.
So obviously you're in that one. Did you know that that's what he was doing at the time?
I knew because I heard him speaking, and when I knew what he was talking about, I knew afterwards he told me to send the question, so I knew this would be coming up. Yeah, I knew it. He started pulling over to me, and I heard him talking about the miss because he's referring to him and I actually played against each other in college. So he was at Butler, and I was at Providence. So our time in the Big East, we did match up against each other twice. And yeah, I'd probably say the chance he saved on me. Obviously, you have to give him the satisfaction that that was probably the biggest miss I had in college. Was I tried to go across the box like when he was diving, and he made a kick save on me and kicked it over the crossbar.
I had to laugh because when I got the email, for those who are listening and couldn't tell who that was, that's Eric Dick, obviously the Hound starting keeper. When he sent me the video, he also included a YouTube link. And I was like, what is he sending me? And it was highlights from that game so that I could see the shot. So he went so far as to dig that up to share that with me as well. So yeah, Eric's a good sport. Yeah.
He is. He's let me know about that one a few times.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Hey, Danny. If you could go back in time and tell young 7-year-old Danny one thing, what would it be? Good luck on Saturday.
Appreciate you. Think I go back to tell 7-year-old me, it's just there's no limitations, I'd say. Like, I think growing up, I'd say that, and also watching soccer more often, because I feel like as I grew older, I started to watch more soccer, but as a kid, I just always want to be playing sports. I didn't watch soccer. Like, you just want to go out and play. Whereas now, like, you kind of can take in things from a lot of the games that you watch when you watch some of these big matches. Um, so I'd say, yeah, as a kid, I was just freely wanting to go play, and that was helpful for me because I played multiple sports. I was always out. I was getting my fitness. I was doing everything, working different types of muscles with all the things I played. And then, yeah, I'd say for the no limitations, it's just that, yeah, I think for me, I always had confidence in myself growing up. And from a young age, soccer was always my favorite sport. So I knew that I'd pick soccer over any of the sports I played. And then, yeah, just having no limitations, no fear when you go into games. And when you play that freely, obviously you play your best. And yeah, obviously the no limitations, just how far you can take yourself in that game and the journey of soccer.
Love it.
Hey, Danny, what's worse, playing in the Pittsburgh spring, which probably means snow, or playing in the Pittsburgh summer, which has gotten quite humid? Have a great game Saturday. Bye.
Thank you. I would say maybe maybe the summer. I guess, like, I've always been used to, like, cold weather. I don't mind playing snow, rains. It doesn't matter. So maybe the summer, because some summers do get humid here. So yeah, I'd say probably the Pittsburgh summer.
All right, there you go. Summer's worse than spring. Next question.
Danny, what is your favorite Bob Lilyism?
Question. Yeah, I would say there was a trip when we were on the road a few years ago where he was, like, talking to us, and he was telling us about, and I actually kind of said it earlier when I was talking about, like, what speaking to the group, was just like doing the business. Like, he'll let you know when you're doing the business. So, like, obviously we have our talks after games. Some are longer than others, depending on the result, depending on the way we played. But one thing is, like, when you really are week after week putting out your best performance, then he'll let you know that you guys are doing the business. So I think that for me is, obviously, you always want to be doing the business. So hearing that from him is obviously probably the best one.
And that's how he'll phrase it. He'll be like, "You guys did the business tonight," or "You guys are doing the business." He'll say that.
I can't remember what trip it was that he was. I think we were, like, Loudon on the road in a meeting, like, 2 years ago. Like, he was, and I think we had a run of games before that, and, like, that match was obviously a big match for implications, either for a home playoff game or so. It was, like, had to do with that, and there were a couple different sayings that he had with it, but at the end was, like, doing the business. Is, like, obviously
Doing the business.
For your performance out there. So yeah,
I like it. All right, we got our last call-in question here.
Hi, Danny. I have one question for you, and that's with your first year as captain, in the locker room, as the guys are making this huge and very inspirational playoff push, what are you telling them day in and day out to keep the good vibes rolling as the last few weeks of the season come around?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and it's been emphasized in our locker room, even, like, we had a meeting after we dropped points against Birmingham, because we knew pretty much these next 4 games, it's like you must win all of them, and we knew the cards we were dealt. We knew our hands. So yeah, we just knew that we had to fight and claw for everything. Obviously for each other, for the fans, for the city. We knew we had to get there, and obviously what we did in the last final stretch of games has been pretty remarkable. And the biggest thing telling the guys is the job's not done yet. So biggest thing is, yeah, we got to go out and get these 3 points. And something that we've emphasized to the group is that winning these games, now we control our destiny. So a win on Saturday will get us in, and that's obviously what we're going for, is 3 points. You know, that's the result we want. Obviously, to finish up strong at home in front of our fans before the playoffs is important to us.
Yeah. I mentioned that was the last call-in question. I have one last question for you. How are you guys feeling heading into this weekend? Jamali Waite coming back, last game at home at least for the regular season. What's on your mind? How's everybody looking? How are we feeling?
The energy is good. Everyone's feeling good. I think there's confidence in the group. You can feel it. Scoring goals, keeping clean sheets the last few games. So yeah, the energy and everything of the group, we all feel good. We feel ready, and obviously excited. We feel like a dangerous team going into these last stretches, and we know that it's capable of 3-point game. And the way we've taken every game and the way we're going to approach each game is just to get these 3 points. You gotta win 4 games. We had to win 4 games to get into the playoffs, so this is the 4th one, and we know we got to do it. So that's what we're doing on Saturday, is to get those 3 points.
Let's do it, man. Danny, it's been a lot of fun watching you guys play down this stretch. I know things were bumpy early on, but it's sort of set up some fun playoff watching and things like that. I appreciate you taking the time to answer everyone's questions today, and thanks to everyone for submitting them. Best of luck this weekend, man. Let's keep the good times rolling.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you having me.